this out later. And ready?
Okay.
Okay. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's John Brewer here, Lake Ida Inventory Expert. I got another interview coming at you today. I've got Mr. Blake Burns from the band Hell and Hollar. If you haven't heard of Hell and Hollar, you should. They are a rockin' band. They bring back memories of Led Zeppelin. They sound a little like Queens of the Stone Age. They are hard rock, and boy, do we need that right around now. I mean, with a lot of the stuff that's going on with the bands and everything, I'm sorry, but I really dig these guys' sounds. So thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm coming down to your place. This is your studio, actually, right? This is where a lot of the magic happens?
Yeah, so this is, there's two names. You can either call it Double Wide Studio or Hell and Hollar Studio, but yeah, either one. This is our studio.
Cool.
Yeah.
And this is in your house. We're way out west. We're way out west in Lantana. We're in horse country here.
Yeah.
And this must be a great place to record, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's amazing to live, even just to be out here. But to be able to have the ability to have this here was awesome too. Yeah. Awesome. We do live in horse country. This used to be a horse farm. The barn where we are now, actually, this used to be a 2-bedroom apartment.
Did it really?
Yeah, above the barn. And when I moved out here, it was like, okay, well, are we going to rent it? What are we going to do with it? And I had the band, so I was like, well, I guess it's the only appropriate thing to do.
Speaking of which, what's going on with the band right now? You guys touring? You're about to tour. I know you guys just did a benefit. You did Matthews. Thank you so much. I heard you guys raised a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to get there, but give us a recap of what happened.
Yeah, so we did this thing called Bahama Strong, and we did it at Matthews Brewing Company. And Dave at Matthews was awesome. We actually had
Dave Matthews?
David, sorry. He likes to be called. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's a pretty funny similarity there. But but no, we were supposed to play there.
So you had a gig already scheduled?
Yeah.
And decided to turn it into a benefit?
I think it was August 30th was the day that we were supposed to play. But obviously that was one of the days where we were smack dab in the middle of the cone of uncertainty. And with Dorian, and we really didn't know what was going on. No one knew what was going to happen yet. So everybody was boarding up. We were boarding up. There's no natural light coming in any of the windows in this place here right now because the boarding is still up.
Ah, is that why? Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody, was getting ready, and we just we gauged it that morning as to whether we should actually go through with it, or we should just, let everybody take the time to prepare, because this thing looked like it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
And, Dave and I went back and forth all day, and I just said, it's up to you, and I'm down to do it if we can still do it. If not, not a big deal. And then when we got to that final text of like, no, let's call it off for tonight. Let's let everybody get ready. We all need to get ready. When it got to that one, I said, okay, well, you know what we should do? I said, let's reschedule this as a benefit for whoever gets the brunt of this thing, because we didn't know.
No, it was such a weird hurricane. The way I've been in a few hurricanes, but this one just sat there.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was. We didn't know. We didn't know what was going. We were in at least a 3-day period where it was just like, all right, what the hell's? We knew it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just by looking at it, and how all the red you would see, it looked like Tabasco sauce, but we just didn't know, and it was moving so slow.
Well, I think it actually almost was stationary at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Bahamas, as we know, got wrecked.
Yeah, terribly.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, so somewhere during that storm, I'm sitting here at home, we're all boarded up. I think it was we're still kind of like on the side of the cone, and it was still kind of uncertain, but at that point it was really a lot closer. And as soon as, because we knew at that point it was going to be the northern Bahamas, the Abacos and all that. Yeah. And it was just intensifying, and we knew, and I can't remember what point it was, but he texted me, and he said, the Bahamas, the benefit's going to have to be for the Bahamas. And I said, that's it, so we already were in motion with that. And then after the whole thing happened, and it was terrible, the very first week of that, Hunter from Spread the Dub, they're just great friends of ours, they're doing some recordings here now. And we've done a lot of shows with them together, and they're just great guys, and we love those guys. But Hunter called me, and it was funny because I was already thinking to myself, I'm working in Miami at that whole week and everything. And I was like, how the hell am I supposed to organize a benefit this week?
Right, you're busy.
Yeah, you know, I'm not even going to be in town. I'm going to be on phone while I'm working, and that's really not good. But I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do whatever I can. And then all of a sudden Hunter calls me, and I was like, oh, perfect, because I wanted to get them involved anyways, because, you know, great band, and also they just know everybody locally, and they're going to be a great help, too.
Right.
So I answered the phone, and I couldn't even, you know, get out, hey, Hunter, what's going on? We've got this date, you know, and at Matthews, and we want to share it with you guys to do this thing, and so that you guys wanted to do. And I was like, okay, cool. So that was amazing, and Hunter really stepped up and did a lot of, you know, he really did a lot of the grunt work on the whole thing, and,
Did he really?
and made it happen, yeah.
And Hunter, he plays
Guitar in Spread the Dub, yeah.
They're such a fun band.
Yeah, they are.
They really are, man. They are such a fun band. We saw them at Nomad last when they were down there, and yeah, good. I can imagine partying with those guys after a show. It's got to be a good time.
Try having them spend the night in the studio for 2 nights in a row out here.
Oh man, it's an MTV special right there, I'm sure.
I don't know
Or
if
at least a
cameras
couple
could have been there.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. That's awesome. So, how much did you guys raise? Do you guys get a number
I think
on
the
that,
total, the final tally was about $17,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and a 30-foot box truck full of, I mean, people even brought dehumidifiers. Like, people really thought, you know, what's going to help? I was like, I couldn't believe that. No, I really thought that was great. I know, it is kind of funny because, like, 3 of them showed up at the same time. It's like 3 R2D2s over there, and I was like, wait, they're dehumidifiers. You know, what a great idea.
Yeah, I got to say, like, the outpouring of love that I saw in South Florida, especially like Delray Beach and, you know, Lake Worth and just all of South Florida especially, I think because we were in that, like, it could have easily have been us. What's that saying? If not for the grace of God.
Well, we had what was it? Francis sat over us for 3 days.
Yeah.
You know.
I wasn't here for that.
But it was only a 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was only a 3.
It was just an extended hurricane
And we've
party.
got better architecture, better structures, you know, here than over there. I mean, it's they really did. They got wrecked over there. So
it's terrible.
You know, definitely going to need our help for a while. But like I said, the outpouring of love that I saw that come from everybody, you guys, everybody just jumped right in and started helping out and donating whatever they could and getting stuff over to them. So
I think my favorite
very
part
proud to call myself a Floridian.
Oh
on
yeah,
that one,
I think my favorite part was loading or showing up to the airplane or airport with at the hangars with all the box truck and seeing how many hangars were full of and being emptied into. I mean, they need more help. Obviously, there's no reason or need to stop right now. They're going to need as much as they can get because it's a lot. But to know that much help was already on board was really awesome.
Absolutely,
it brought a tear to your eye, you know.
Yeah. So on that note, shameless self promotion. I make my own beer, and if you list your home with me, you'll get a lifetime supply of all the beer you could possibly drink. I'm just kidding.
I would buy a house for that.
So anyway, let me open yours first. Well, here, take mine.
Okay, we'll trade. Thank you.
There you go. It's funny because I used to work at a country club for a while, and the Japanese guys used to come in. They were so funny because they would open beers, and they would all open each other's beers, and they'd all pour each other's beers. So everybody was reaching over the table, pouring each other's beer. Anyway, we're putting it in the official Hell and Hollar. By the way, you guys got a lot of merch, right?
We have some, yeah.
You guys have a website? Yeah, let's get into that a little bit. How about social media, website? You just told me it's 1,600? Or?
16. We just got over 16,000 followers on Facebook.
Wow.
Our Instagram's a little slower than that. We're about right around 1,000 or so, but yeah, our debut music videos over 100 or 550,000 views.
And which one is that?
That's for Showdown.
Showdown.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a great video. And actually,
Cam Brooks Creative.
Cam Brooks, who's my neighbor in Lake Ida, and just to bring this whole local thing around, the bad guy in there.
Yeah, Brooks.
Brooks.
Yeah.
He is the teacher. If you guys have seen the Lee Probst video, he is the Muay Thai teacher. He's my Muay Thai coach. He's the guy that teaches combat.
Yeah.
So he is the bad guy in there, and it's a great video. It's very old school. It's Cool Hand Luke style.
My jaw still hurts a little bit.
There he clocked you, huh? He hit you good. Great video. We'll put the link in on the bottom of this for YouTube, so you guys can link up to it. So you guys have a Facebook account. It's Hell and Hollar, spelt like collar, not
AR.
Yeah, HOLLAR.
It's supposed to impose that Southern draw.
Yeah.
You know, I love when we're out on the road and people ask about that, and I say that, and they all just smile.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like that, you know. No one ever really says anything with a smile.
How's the beer?
It's awesome. Cheers.
Good, right?
Yeah.
Salute, man. Cheers. Thanks.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Brewed by the finest. Brewer.
Finest brewer. Let's get something brewing.
Named Brewer.
Anyway, so yeah, so talk about the band a little bit and how you guys got together. I know there's, I saw the one video you guys put out where there's an older gentleman who got involved, and it's kind of an interesting story, a little sad, but at the same time very cool.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's got a family now. He's probably not the road kind of guy, but he kind of brought everybody together.
Yeah, no, John is like my older brother. John, we call him John. His mom called him Johnny when he was younger. He's well older than me. His name's actually Gene Francois Lessert. A lot of the surfing community around Delray knows who he is because he probably went further with professional surfing than anybody else did from our area.
Is that right?
Yeah, he won a lot of the ASPE stuff back in the day, and then you know, did a lot of seasons in Hawaii. Like he was at Benji's house with Kelly and all those guys back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a part of that crew at one point, and yeah, just yeah, he had to come home for certain circumstances that he had to kind of walk away from all that. But he's an incredible surfer, even more incredible human being, and great drummer, and just overall great person, and thankful to have him in my life. But yeah, yeah, I've known him since I was 12.
Wow. And
him and I started the band together. So it was really
that's the genesis of the band.
Yeah, and it came from a band that we were already in, essentially.
Even further back.
Yeah, so a band that we were in together at the time already called Mule Kick with our friend Mark. I'm trying to remember, Mark Van Dern. And Mark was playing guitar, and John was playing drums, and I was playing bass, actually. And we didn't have a singer, and I was still being shy and not singing or anything yet. And I think John heard me sing in the car or something, and that was when he was like, "You need to sing in this band" or something. It was pretty funny. But yeah, no, and that band just kind of fell apart for, you know, whatever kind of reason. I think it had to do with some kind of work-related issues or something else. I mean, we couldn't keep that band going.
Right.
I don't remember what it was. It always ends up something like that. You know
it's
what
like
I mean?
the Bryan Adams song or whatever, the one. Bobby got married, Johnny, you know, whatever.
Pretty much.
Yeah, one guy.
Yeah.
I remember living in Vegas, and they actually did an article on the two guys who left the Killers. Like, one guy was a bass player, and nah, I'm gonna stick with the construction job. There's more money here. You know?
And then they get a record deal.
I was like, what did it? I mean, I wouldn't want to be. I'd be like, no, you're not doing a story on me. The two guys who left the Killers before they hit it big. You know? Not good.
But I think the Killers actually went through a rough road with a record deal or something after that. Yeah. So I mean, maybe they were thankful to avoid that.
So you and Johnny were still together, or you guys were playing, the band kind of fell apart a little bit?
Yeah. So that one kind of fell apart, and John and I. We still had the time, and the close friendship never went away with Mark or anything either, but just that we were still kind of like, hey, let's keep doing this, you know, somehow, some way. And I already had a bunch of songs written.
Really?
Yeah, I think I had, oh God, I don't even remember. I think probably about 3 to 4 out of 6 off that first EP were like already not ironed out and finished, you know, from start to finish, but the general idea, the lyrics, you know, somewhat of a structure was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, you know, like John says in that video, essentially we just kept showing up at practice was pretty much what happened. You know, Mark stopped showing up because of other obligations, and we kept showing up and started a different band, and it was awesome. Yeah, it just kind of, it was cool. It was almost like we were trying to do our White Stripes thing or something at first. I can remember we'd have like a New Year's party with all the neighbors and open, because the room had like doors that would open to the back patio, and we'd have people over and no one would be over there. They'd all be over there. And I'm 34 now. I'll be 35 in December.
How old were you back then?
Oh, back then?
Yeah.
Geez, this is like 6 years ago or so.
28?
Yeah, it was like my late 20s, you know.
Okay, so you guys are doing the White Stripes kind of thing? Or?
No, I mean, not like to say the music was that, but just the kind of just the drummer and the guitarist, and the guitarist really loud and covering a lot of sonic, you know, real estate, and yeah, that was kind of the situation, you know.
Cool. So I want to segue into something different. Actually, we have a connection. We have a couple of connections, but one of the main connections is my wife. And Diane actually was a tutor for you. And we've talked about you a number of times. And you have ADD.
ADHD, actually.
ADHD.
Yeah.
And,
the hyperactive part.
Right. And you're a highly intelligent individual, but you weren't doing well in school because you just couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
Which a lot of boys have. You know, I'm a big advocate for boys and the fact that the way we teach and it's set up, it's not a very boy-conducive environment.
Yeah, I think if anybody that taught me heard another eraser hit the desk like a drum stick, they would probably freak out.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was always...
Yeah.
It's nonstop.
It's funny you said. There's a great video out there. I'll have to send it to you of a young kid who's an amazing drummer, and they show him on stage. And he actually, I get a little choked up. He shows an old teacher, and he was getting yelled at because he was always pounding on his desk. And the teacher goes, "You are a drummer," and pointed him in that direction. And
that's what changed his life.
Changed his life.
See, that's like all it takes is a teacher saying that instead of "shut up" or
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sit still. Put your hands down.
Yeah.
Stop moving around so much. You know, you've got this. I see you on stage. You're all over the place. That's who you are. You know, that's what you are. So get back to Diane. She taught you, and I know that you guys became much more than just teacher student. She was a great friend to you. She took you to Hawaii because you're a surfer. She's a surfer.
Well, she was there, and I went and stayed with her. Really, that was I always wanted to go there, and she was kind of my in at that point. And she at the time, and still, and she's like an older sister, or once we had that amount of time or whatever it is, I can't remember how many. We've spent. I lived in Hawaii at one point too for a little bit, very briefly. But so we have a lot of time together out there, and along that period of time, she kind of became my auntie. Yeah. So I call her Auntie Di because in Hawaii, like everybody's like either your uncle or your auntie, so I just call her Auntie Di.
Yeah.
But more or less like an older sister figure, really. Yeah.
And she talks about, whenever we talk about you, she always brings up the fact that you were just one of those you had a natural musical ear. I don't know if you were just starting to play guitar when she was teaching you or when she was tutoring you, but she said this kid didn't know chords, didn't know chord structure really, but he heard a song on the radio, and I can't remember the song. I meant to ask her, but I didn't get a chance to before we came here.
I don't remember which one either.
And she said you just basically came in and just played it note for note.
Yeah, I think the one that was for her, actually, I can remember was, what's the Smashing Pumpkins one?
Yeah, because she's a big Smashing Pumpkins fan.
Today is the greatest.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I forget the name of that song right now. But yeah,
Today,
that one.
Yeah.
Today, yeah.
It's off of the Siamese Dream album.
Yeah. I was going to say Siamese Dream, but I knew that wasn't the name of the song. But no, I remember she came over and I played it on an acoustic, which if you don't know is even harder because that 12th fret is like right up against the guitar, so that part you play, you're like trying to reach over it. But yeah, I remember I played it for her and then played the whole chord progression and everything, and she was like, "How'd you learn that?" I was like, "I just figured it out on my own." And she was like, "Okay."
It's amazing.
I just didn't think anything of it. I was just like, "Yeah, it's fun." You know? I was so hyperactive and just always wanting to learn something or become better at something, and that just was something that just came naturally, I guess. Yeah, like you said, like I'd hear a song and I'd go, "How's that chord played?" And I would just, I can remember rewinding just the chord.
Yeah. Over
and over and over again. And
just to get that.
Just to hear each note in it.
Get it in. So
yeah, to single out each note so I could find it. And yeah, and then and then I took some lessons with this guy Chris Zucara for a little while. Great guy. I probably only went to a matter of weeks of lessons, and he was like, "That's all I can do with him." You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't learn to read notes or anything. I couldn't do that. I just was too hyperactive to concentrate long enough on that. Right. But I could learn every chord. I could learn every little trick or maneuver that someone showed me.
Right.
So he basically just taught me like a bunch of tricks and chords,
hammer-ons,
how to do it all,
and slurs and double stops.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Palm mutes and whatever else, and playing harmonics on different parts of the guitar and all just stupid stuff. I'd come in and go, "How was that done?" And that was like the lessons. I'd go, "I heard this in a song. How was that done?" And he'd go, "Like this," and I go, "Oh," and I just do it, Yeah. And I go, "Oh, thanks,"
That's cool. So I think this is a good point maybe to segue into, your family life. We're talking about you and being taught and everything like that. You're Dan Burns' son, and you're adopted.
Yes.
And I think you had a recent reunion, I think, or something along those
Yes.
lines, which was probably pretty interesting. And your dad's a great guy. We've had some great time. Remember your wedding? We had
Yeah.
a great time out there for your wedding.
I think I had too much fun, but
No, you were fine. So, you know, I just, what's your relationship like with your dad, and you know, and meeting your mom, and just, I mean.
yeah. So my relationship with my mother and my father, so my mother and my father are the ones that raised me. That's like, you know, that won't ever change no matter who I meet.
Yeah.
Because that's the person I am is because of them.
Right.
No one that's, you know, maybe there's some minute details here and there that come from someone that had nothing to do with raising me, but at the same time, everything else that I am is from them, not from, you know, the birth parents. So they're my parents. But yeah, my relationship with them is amazing. They live right up the road. I see them almost every day sometimes, and we're getting ready to take the new bus on a trip with the family up to Disney to go stay at Wilderness Lodge and for a few days, and
Nice.
and then I'm taking Chelsea after that, my wife Chelsea, on her little birthday weekend on the RV. She's gonna come up, meet us, get on the bus, and my mom's gonna take her car home, and then me and her off to St. Augustine for a weekend for her birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, breaking the bus in.
Nice. And for those of you who don't know, there's Dan Burns, as in, if you're a local around here, you know Dan Burns, what, Oldsmobile?
Oldsmobile,
Dan Burns,
yeah. So Oldsmobile, yeah, old goes ways back. Now at this point, I mean, I think they kind of, I think I was in 8th grade or 9th grade when it stopped, when it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking about too, is, you know, Dan was a big part of Delray Beach, and he actually kept Delray Beach together for a while there, right? They were going through some financial straits, or
I wouldn't say like kept together, maybe that would be a strong way to put it, but the best way to put it would probably be that there was certain times where the city, you know, he helped the city out however he could.
Did the fireworks a few times, or?
Yeah, I think he helped out with the fireworks for 4th of July a few times and whatever else, and you know, he's always been really involved with, you know, the local police department, you know. I think he actually was almost mayor at one point.
He should have been, I would imagine.
And I actually kind of in hindsight wish he did at one point, but then I thought about how many of the times we've had together I wouldn't have gotten with him too, because he just would have been too busy.
Yeah.
He was already busy as it was, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's why he didn't do it actually.
Right. He wanted more time with the family.
Yeah, he was like the most popular candidate, I think, at the time, and it was like really early. He never even like fully got there, I don't think either. It was like early on they wanted him to do it,
Right.
and everybody was really pushing him, kind of thing. And I don't think he ever really went through with it, kind of thing. I don't think he even got to campaigning, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, never even went there. But I remember a lot of people being like, "You should," and he just.
And your mom does a lot of stuff with horses now, right? I believe.
Yeah, well, my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was raised on horses. So my mom and my sister have always shown horses. They wanted me to show horses, but I couldn't bear sitting on a horse and being told to run, trot, walk, keep your posture. I'm too hyper for that. So, but I did take a lot of lessons when I was a kid for roping, like the cattle out the chute.
Okay, yeah. Man,
And
that
then
sounds like
rope
more
'em.
your speed.
Yeah, that was a little more my speed. So I did a little bit of practice of that when I was a kid, but I never fully like lived it out. Surfing kind of took over at one point.
Yeah, you were a pretty competitive surfer for a while there, weren't you?
Competitive, I guess I wouldn't really say so much, but
You were-
my
yeah.
free surfing career was
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do some contest stuff growing up, and I, you know, got a few results in the amateur, enough to make some sponsors think maybe I could do something. Got some good shots and some good clips of video.
Didn't you
and-
do some like travelogue stuff or stuff like that?
Yeah, I did a lot of travel.
Shitty job. They pay you to go surf somewhere and they take pictures of you.
Yeah, I did a lot of that. A lot of, you know, I think it was like 10 or 11 years or something. I didn't make nearly enough money, but had a lot of fun. Saw a lot of great places, surfed a lot of really fun waves, and it was fun.
Cool.
That's all I can really say about it.
So what's on no, you know, other thing I want to talk about. Can you grab that guitar?
Which one?
The one your custom, the one you made.
Well, there's two. There's both of those. Which one? The one that was in the magazine?
The one you showed me. Yeah.
Okay.
So you also make guitars.
Well, I did.
You did. Well, you had a company, right?
Well, it's still going, and it's not my company. It's
Okay.
a very, very dear friend of mine named Greg Simpson, Lust for Tone.
Lust for Tone.
He hand winds the pickups. He makes some really incredible guitar pickups, And him and I, he wanted to start a guitar company as well. He wanted to start doing custom guitars.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point when I did not have a job or anything going on and I didn't know what to do, he employed me to start, building guitars with him. And basically I did all the finish work.
Wow, that's a beauty.
I did hand build some of them out of wood. A lot of these were just very rough parts that come off of CNC and I had to finish too. So it was a lot of work, period, either way. But yeah, this one in particular was, this is the very first. This is a ribbon mahogany back with a koa plate to match the top. Top is koa wood.
Wow,
she's a little beat up. You can see some scratches in it. We had it at NAMM in LA, and people come up with a watch on and.
Oy.
But yeah, the neck is Brazilian cherry.
It's a Telecaster shape or
snakewood knob. It's a Telecaster. It's so basically what we would call this over at Lust for Tone is we call this an Envy.
Okay.
And the this would, I guess, honestly probably be the very first of the Trinity series. So the Trinity series is, humbucker, Les Paul in a Telecaster style setup.
Okay.
So, but Greg and I designed this little headstock cut together, and
awesome guitar.
Yeah, this one's great. Ian's been playing it a little bit on the road with Hell and Hollar.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, pulling it out for a few songs here and there.
And what guitar do you play?
So I play.
What's your go-to guitar over here?
My main guitar.
We tried to set it up with the guitars in the back. It didn't work, but it's a Jag, right?
So this is this is actually another Lust for Tone. So
oh, wow.
Greg and I built this. This is probably the only Lust for Tone in existence that you will find plastic on.
Okay.
At the moment. Otherwise, it's all wood and metal.
Tilt this so camera.
Yeah. So it's road worn. This is a JM. We're just calling it a JM series right now. It's a prototype. We're gonna come out with a Jazzmaster type of series soon, but this is my personal. These are custom Jazzmaster pickups. They are P90, single coil, just like you would expect out of a Jazzmaster, but these are actually humbucking, and I cannot exactly remember why or how. They are still one set of poles, still give you that single coil sound. You do not get as much. I won't say you don't get any of it, because you get a little tiny bit, but it's so minor it doesn't even matter anymore. That 60 cycle hum or what, it just, you don't really get that.
Okay.
And it's amazing.
It's going over my head, probably yours too. It's getting a little guitar geeky here, and I'm a guitar player. I'm a layman's guitar player, but this is when I realize why he's in a band and touring and all that stuff. It's you start talking all that, but no, I understand you lose me after humbuckers. But amazing guitar.
It's got I customized the crap out of it. It's got a Mastery bridge set up on it, which is great. I put a buzz stop roller on it. This roller actually, because the distance from here to here is so far, if you don't, you get these really harmonic humming noises that'll start to resonate, and in recording or even live, it can pick up. So it's really customized to just be a workhorse.
Oh, cool.
You can see it's getting a little.
That's your main guitar, right?
It's getting a little worn here from
the
in 442, that one song 442. When I do that, it's all done right here, so it's getting a little bit messed up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's a workhorse, and it's got. I cannot remember the name of the wood on this neck, but it's amazing. It's just gorgeous, and this is. Everybody I know that plays guitar, professional or not, that picks this thing up just goes, oh my God. So I love that. Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So that's my main workhorse right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So real quick, and then we'll wrap this up. It's amazing. Like I know you played with Mike McCready?
Mike McCleary. Yeah.
McCleary.
So
Mike
from
McCleary,
Surfer Blood and
from Surfer Blood.
Yeah.
It's just what I find so amazing is. So my wife and I, we love to go out. We love to see live music. We always go see you guys whenever it's not too late, which is usually like before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we normally don't play till like 1. No.
I know. But
hey, you guys want a headline? Okay.
But so Mike was with the band for a while. He plays with Girlfriend Material,
Yep.
Surfer Blood. Then you've got, of course, I interviewed.
He played drummed in Spread the Dub. I mean, he's done a
dub.
lot.
There's such an intertwining. There's got to be probably about 30 of you guys that are just full-on musicians, and kind of know each other, and there's quite a local music scene. But we were talking about the fact that it's we got to break everybody out of that box and get them outside of South Florida, maybe, and get them. What do you find the challenges are as a band in South Florida?
Should I just be brash and say what pick at the elephant in the room kind of thing?
I guess why not?
I mean, okay, no one else will probably do it, so why not me? Yeah, South Florida just is not the scene for original music. It just isn't, unless you're a reggae act or that type of genre. Then you're really not in the right place. You got to get out, and even if you are, you still have to get out,
right,
for anybody to care about your originals. Otherwise, South Florida and most of Florida in general is just so tourist based that it ends up becoming a thing where, I mean, you see all the memes on Facebook and stuff where it's like, like play Freebird, but it is how it is in Florida, essentially. That's essentially how it is. So most of us original bands that don't do that, we play a lot of shows around here where we get a lot of people. Some shows there's a lot of people and everybody loves it. Some shows there's not as many people and everybody still loves it. But it doesn't constantly, it's not like the greatest local scene for original music.
Right.
It is in a sense of the community. The community around here, the people that do show up to the shows and the people that are in the bands and everything else like that, it's incredible. I mean, I love everybody I know in this scene. It's amazing. Everybody we play with, everybody we get to work with, everybody we get to hang with. Everybody's awesome. And they're all doing their own thing, and it's so interesting. Every time we try to put together a show, it's like a variety show.
Right.
But similar. It's so weird. Everybody's just awesome. Everybody's doing something awesome. And unfortunately, around here, not enough people seem to come out and support the local acts. Like you said, a lot of times they play too late or whatever, but we play in Texas, and people are there. We play in what's another one? North Carolina, we had a pretty good turnout. Like all these different places, you have these great turnouts where people want to hang out after the show and talk to the band and do all this stuff. It's just not really that kind of scene here, Yeah,
that's one thing I loved about living in Manhattan too. Was, I mean, there was 4 or 5 bars we would go to in the course of an evening, and each one of these bars had 3 or 4 rooms, and it was all new material. Mm-hmm. I was listening to Sunvolt before anybody knew who they were. Yeah. It was funny because when I lived in Manhattan in the 90s, it was very Strokes. You had a lot of Strokes.
CBGB
bands.
Was still going, right?
CBGB just closed down.
It just closed?
While I was there, it closed down. But there was this big country rock scene going on in there. You had Ryan Adams and Jesse Maitland and all these guys it was just a big kind of country rock scene in the middle of Manhattan that was going on. But yeah, I noticed that too, and I had this conversation with Chris, and we were talking about how it's very easy in South Florida, I think, for a musician to get caught up in the cover scene.
Yeah.
Because you can make a decent living at it. You can play, 2 Georges here, there, wherever, but they want to hear covers. Mm-hmm. They don't want to hear, they don't want to hear, this is one off my new album, or this is a new song. They want to hear Freebird, and they want to hear, they want to be able to, because they're drunk, and they want to be able to sing, and they want to know what the next verse is going to be and what's coming up next. And these songs have been around for a while, so yeah, I think you can get caught in that trap maybe. There's a lot of talented musicians. I'm amazed. You go to an open mic night around here, you'll see guys in their 40s, 50s, 60s, amazing guitar players, virtuosos, but they just play covers. And I think that's the trick. Is you got to write your own material. I mean, that's the difference between a U2 and a U2 cover band.
Yeah.
They wrote the music.
Yeah. Well, and I think that like everybody like saying, okay, we have to play covers in order to make it kind of thing or whatever. The funny.
You have to resist that almost.
If more people did, maybe we'd still have more of a scene. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But everywhere's got a live band every night playing cover songs.
Yeah.
Around here, And I mean, it's not just here. It's in other places of the country too, but in other places of the country, they actually care to go out and see something new too,
Well, the one thing I've noticed too is a lot of the major bands, quote unquote, major bands don't come down to Florida.
No.
And that's living in Las Vegas. You got to see everybody. I mean, anybody who did any kind of a tour went through Vegas because they either lived in L.A., so they'd always stop off in Vegas.
Not far.
It was either the first stop or the last stop before they went home.
Mm-hmm.
But in Florida, if they don't start the tour or end the tour here, like the Stones started their tour here, I think. If they don't start their tour or end their tour here, they usually don't come down here.
No.
Because it's like, okay, we go around here, we loop around. We're not going to go all the way down to, Miami and then swing back up again. Or,
no, you have to be able to guarantee you're going to fill up one of those, like one of the arenas or something.
Yeah, like the American Airlines arena.
Either that
like
or
BB&T. Yeah, so my wife and I, who have we seen recently? We saw Depeche Mode. They were able to fill that theater.
Yeah.
That was cool. We actually met them at the hotel bar afterwards. We had no idea. And
I feel
Diane was just like, oh.
I feel that's awesome. I bet that was awesome. I saw that you guys posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
I wish I was there for that. No, I feel like the 80s scene, though, the 80s music thing they're going to sell out Miami. I mean, it's Vice City.
That's true.
It is what it is.
Miami Vice.
Everybody's going to go for that. I would,
Yeah.
I grew up down here, and I'm not even all the way in Miami. I'd still, we all grew up with that, like, Art Deco, Vice City kind of vibe, the white sports coat with the sleeves rolled up and your jeans on.
The turquoise T-shirt.
Don Johnson,
The white Capizios.
Yeah.
I know, I lived it.
Yeah.
I took that to New York with me when I left in the 80s. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's how I stood out up there. They were all wearing members-only jackets, and I was wearing the white linen jacket.
Oh, trust me, there's a picture of me somewhere with it too. I guarantee it.
Too crazy. Well, it's a good time, man. Anything else you want to mention about the band? What's coming up? What do you guys got going on?
Yeah, so we're recording a new record.
Cool.
We're working on a full length, so I'm not sure how many songs it's going to be right now. Our first record was 6. It's definitely going to be over 10. I don't even know where it's going to stop. The ideas have just been flowing ever since I got back from tour.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's just, the tour went so
what's
great.
your writing process like? Do you usually sit alone, just kind of wish it out, or?
Yeah, it depends.
Get the chords going first, get a melody.
Sometimes we come up here and we just jam on something and record it and then go back and iron it out. Sometimes, most of the time, I think, Johnny and I write a lot alone at home. Ian does too. So most of the time I think it ends up being, early mornings for me with my coffee, fresh in the morning, just sit at the desk and throw a guitar in your hand.
Whenever your subconscious has kind of been thrown in your head over the night.
Yeah, just let it fly and record it on my phone or whatever. And then normally it's just, at that point it's like a main riff idea and a chorus idea, and then build on that. And I normally don't write lyrics to a song. Actually, I haven't yet wrote lyrics to a song without having the actual song laid out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I thought so too until I started hearing from other people that most people went the other way with it. Yeah. And I was like, that seems harder to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess you got to find a way to fit one around the other.
I think for me, every like melody or riff or whatever you want to call it that you play, every single one of them has a different feeling, an emotion that's embedded in it, whether it be happy, sad, angst, romance, whatever. You can play something and each one of those melodies is going to fling off some kind of feeling.
Right.
So why the hell would I write lyrics to something without knowing what the feeling is?
Right.
So for me, I like to write the overall rhythms and everything else and really know what the song feels like.
Right.
And know what I'm getting into here, and then I come up with something, either come up with something or pick something out of my own life, that's really closely related to that feeling, and then just go with it.
Just kind of go with it, see where it goes.
Yeah.
Real quick, the other members of the band.
Oh yeah, the other members of the band are so Johnny Dusko. He was the bass player we brought into the band when the original drummer was still in.
Uh-huh.
And so he's been in the band for a long time. And then Nate came in to replace Gene. And Nate Largent is an awesome drummer. He's also in the Resolvers. You've seen him play with the Resolvers.
Yeah, we freaked out. We're like, wait, that's he's in Hell and Hollar.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean about this music community locally. It's awesome.
And it's a whole different style of music.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just great. I mean, he was having fun up there. He has fun with you, and that's true musicianship. You know, you slip into one band, you slip into another band, but loves playing drums.
Yeah.
You know, that's what comes through.
And he can do anything.
It's such a blast up there. He just looks like he's having so much fun.
He can do anything. He's an incredible drummer, really. I feel very lucky and fortunate to have him. In fact, Gene, the original drummer, told me, he was like, I couldn't have handpicked a better drummer to take my place. He's like, you guys are good, you know?
Yeah.
So we're really happy to have him. And then Ian Pattison came in after we recorded the first record. We did it all as a 3-piece. But I did end up, you know, doing some doubling of guitars and overdubs, and just ended up sounding so amazing. And it was originally what I wanted the band to be, was, you know, 2 guitars. So after the record was recorded, and Mike McCleary played some shows with us.
Yeah.
Sunfest.
Sunfest, that's right.
He played some other shows with us also. He played the Palm Beach Post thing that we did with the Facebook Live with the Palm Beach Post that we did. He played that with us. So Mike McCleary filled in for a little bit, but he's busy with Surfer Blood. And then eventually Ian Pattison, who I've known since, gosh, I can't even, it's so long ago. I mean, I've known him since he was a kid. You know, he's not that much younger than us, but I remember working in a skate and surf shop that our friend Mark Alaco owned, the Ocean City loft place that used to have the Ocean City surf and skate shop down there.
Okay.
So I used to run that with Mark, and he used to come in as a little kid and stuff. So I've known him for a long time. And he's just such an incredible guitar player.
Yeah.
Seriously, an incredible guitar player. Like, way more talented than I think he even knows. But yeah, he's just really, really good guitar player. So great addition. He's taken over a lot more of the lead work.
Really?
I'm a lead player. I'm
Are
good
you
at writing
focusing more
leads.
on your vocals now, or are you trying to free your hands up a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. I'm still playing leads too, and because I'm a lead player too, so it just it allows us the ability. He'll play the main lead parts. I still do a lot of lead stuff, but it also gives us that ability to play leads together, to where we can overlap leads and stuff. So, which we're hoping to do on this new record. We haven't gotten to that point with one of the songs yet, but it's one of the goals for a few of the songs on this new record.
That's one of the things, probably one of the best shows, and one of the most recent shows that we saw was Smashing Pumpkins. Mm-hmm. And they've got 3 guitars, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of people do. Queens of Stone Age too.
I didn't realize, like, Eha would play a solo, and then Corrigan would pick it up, and then I forget the other, not Chamberlain. Chamberlain's the drummer. The other, it was just...
They had a guy on keys or something that was doing guitar too every now and then or something.
Yeah, but it was amazing. And it just adds more depth, or not depth, but just another more of a sonicness to the sound, more fuller, you know.
For sure, and I mean, that's, you know what it really all comes down to. Well, that's what people do in a studio.
Right. Yeah.
So they only wait one way to do it live, right?
Yeah, exactly. You listen to a U2 song, it's just the edge, but if you listen to a song, there's like 4 guitars.
Yeah. Exactly. And when they go out on tour, I'm sure there's some people back in.
Yeah, there's a guy in the back. I'll never forget the first time I saw something. I forget the show it was, but I saw some guy in the back playing the guitar. I'm like, they got another guy playing guitar.
He's holding down that rhythm while the Edge just plays with his delay.
Exactly. Well, man, this was a blast. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So good.
Thanks for having me.
So good for you to sit down, and good to see you. And
man.
Wish you guys the best of luck. And
thank you.
Like I said, I love local music. I know a lot of people do love local music. So the more we can get the word out there to people and let them know what's going on in the scene, maybe we can get some more bodies in there and get some more support going, because there's some really, really talented musicians, and you're definitely in the top of that. So
I appreciate that.
But
so you're right. There is a lot of really great, talented musicians around here.
Awesome, brother.
They could all use the fans. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks.